Hello everyone. Today we are going to create a demo primarily to focus on doing serverless data analysis using Dataflow. So we would create a simple data flow pipeline. There are three key objectives that I want to accomplish with this demo. First, we are going to set up a Python data flow project using Apache Beam. We will write a simple pipeline in Python. We'll execute that pipeline on the local machine, and then we'll execute that query in the cloud. So we'll create Python-based data flow, which is based on Apache Beam framework. We'll write a simple pipeline in Python. We'll execute that pipeline on cloud. First, we'll do it, execute that query on premise, and then we'll execute the query in the cloud. So with that, let's get started. Let's quickly go ahead and do some initial setup checks to make sure our environment is up and ready. We have our defined project ID and our defined project details available to us. So our student account is ready. Now let's go ahead and look at list of IDs that we have. Our project ID is configured properly. Now let's go ahead and open editor. It will take a few minutes to launch. So here you see we don't have any information available right now. This is an Eclipse based editor. We can go ahead and we can write our scripts here, or we can write our code through this editor. Now let me go back and open terminal. We are trying to pull a training data analyst data set. So give it a few minutes, it's trying to clone this information. We are almost there, it will take a few more minutes. So we are done here. So let's go. So if you see here now in our editor, we have training data analyst folder, which has all these different scripts and dependencies available. So we were able to pull this data successfully. Now let me go back and create a cloud storage bucket. So we go to home, we copy our project ID. Give me 1 second. Let's go to storage, go to browser. So we already have our bucket available with the project ID. default storage type, we are having it as regional. What about the location type? Location is US Central 1, Iowa. So we have our bucket created. Now let's go ahead and open terminal. Let's see what information do we have for our bucket environment variable. We don't have anything. So we will have to set our bucket information. So we have our bucket information set there. Now let's go ahead and verify our Dataflow API to make sure it is enabled for the project. So we'll go into Dataflow API. We go into navigation, menu, API, dashboard, and Dataflow API. So navigation, API services, dashboard. Dataflow, let's go down. Maybe it's on a different page. Dataflow API. So our Dataflow API is enabled. Here it gives you information about do you have any kind of traffic. Right now we don't have any information here, but once you start using this API, you will get this information about what are the different traffic and what are the relevant response code for each and every API calls that we make using this API. Now let's go ahead and we'll have to open our Dataflow project. So we'll go back to our Cloud Shell. So we are in the folder where we have our Python libraries. Now let's install all the dependencies here. So this will take a few minutes because we are trying to install all the dependencies that we need to run our code. We'll say yes. Okay, so we have installed required packages. Now let's go ahead and verify the version of PIM. So our version is 20, so that's a good version. Okay, so we have all this information here. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to do some kind of filtering on the pipeline. So let us go ahead and grab those files. Let me quickly look at the file. So this is Apache Beam file. We are giving all the information from where to pull the file, what is the input directory, what is the output directory, what are the search terms. So that's about it. Now let's go to the Cloud Shell command line and we'll try to locally execute this file. So let's see how. Give it a few minutes, it would take some time. Okay, the file got executed. Now let's look at the output folder. So if you see here, you have output created of the file that we ran. We can look at the file. So you see all the input statement it has captured in that file. We did grab to get all the input from that file into a new test file. Now let us try to execute the same code on cloud environment. So we are using gsutil to copy file from local bucket to your cloud environment. But before that, let us see our cloud setup. So you do echo, you see bucket information. You want to make sure a bucket is there. Okay. Now we are copying file into our cloud storage. So we are getting it from local environment and we are copying it to our cloud storage. So now let's go to our, what is PWE? Okay. Dev shell project ID. Okay, so that is also same. So now let's ls do vi grepc.py insert. So this project demo. We have to get this information. So we copy this. Now we go into so we are setting this. Now let's try to do echo dev shell good. Echo bucket good. So now we have this information. We change the variable information. Now let's try to submit this job to cloud. Let's see if we are able to run this successfully. Okay. Now we can go to navigation, and then we need to click on Dataflow. So we are here in navigation. Dataflow would be under big data. You click on Dataflow. So you have this job is running. Okay, you can click on the job here. So let's go ahead and let's click on the job and see what kind of processes it is doing. So right now it is writing. So these are different steps, right? So you have your get Java, you have a Java file, you're grabbing that information from the Java file and you're writing it to an output job. If you see here right now, the job is running. Your SDK version is Apache Beam Python 3.7 SDK 2.19.0. It's 1 minute and 15 seconds approximately. Job name is example job 2. Look at the resources. You have current memory usage as 3.75 GB. Your current CPU is 1. Your total CPU time is 0.008 hour. So let's see what else. What other information? You have this pipeline options information. You have runner details. You have project ID, job name, staging location, temp location, your region, and what are the plugins that you're trying to use here. You can also look at your worker logs and see what kind of processing is happening behind the scene, how much data they are scanning. So if you see here, Java has already scanned 271 MB of data, sizable amount. You can always go back and look at the jobs here. You're seeing, so you see here, the job finished operation, writing, and it did some kind of grouping within, and then it created some more information. So let me go back to the job details. It's still running. So let's give it a few more minutes. It's still running. Okay. Let's look at the error. Right now, there is no error found here. So we are good. So these are different kind of log levels. You have critical error, debug. So essentially, you can go ahead and manually set your logging requirements from this interface itself. Again, this is your job log. So pretty intuitive. Now, if you see here, there are 3 stages. You have succeeded all 3 stages now. So let me go back and look at the job here. The job is running. Let me try to refresh this. Let us quickly look at the logs. It finished processing. Now it is reporting status to Dataflow service, because Dataflow service, it has to know whether your job has successfully completed or not. Job log, you have all this information. It gives you detailed information about operation that is happening behind the scene. We are stopping the worker pool right now, so that's good. It's still running. Give it a few more minutes because it's still trying to communicate with the Dataflow API to update the information. Let's give it a few more minutes. So the job is succeeded. So let's come here and look at the status. The status is still saying that it's running. Okay. Now let us go back to, let's quickly look at this job here and just one more time make sure. Look at the job metrics. What are the job metrics? You had one worker. This gives you good detailed view in terms of how much time worker spent, what kind of activities worker did, what was the CPU utilization. You can go ahead and create alerting policy if you want to have some kind of advanced alerting in place. Go back here. Now, if you see here, the job is succeeded. Overall time it took 5 minutes and 48 seconds. What else we have here? Worker error count. So yeah, it gives you good view in terms of what is happening behind the scene. Now let us go back to our storage option. Where do we have our storage? Go to browser. Click on the job. You see here Java help. Click on that. You'll have your output folder created here. So if you see, these are like different output folders created. So if you go here, you can download this file or you can edit permission. So let's try to download this file. So you see, these are the information that it collected. We were trying to grab import from the file into a new file. So your output file has all the statements starting with import. So that's the overall goal. Now we can also download this file in the Cloud Shell. Now let me go to the Cloud Shell. And we can do gsutil bucket output. So you see here, we are having this output here and all the files, they import the content of imported. Once we grab import and then we created an output file which would have output of all those file information there. So with that, I think we have covered all the activities that we were supposed to do in this demo. So let me give you a quick rundown one more time what we did. So initially we set up a Python Dataflow project using Apache Beam. We wrote a simple pipeline in Python. We executed the query on the local machine. Job ran successfully. We created the output files. Then we pushed our Python file to cloud and we executed our query on the cloud. We ran that job on the cloud. We went ahead and we looked into Dataflow API. We see how the job got executed. We looked at different parameters of the job. Let me show you one more time. So if you go here, look at data flow. So we submitted this job on the cloud. Job got succeeded. If you click on job, you'll see a graphical view of different stages involved in that job and how much time each stage took. You also have details about job info. What was the job name? What was job ID? What was the status of the job? What are the resources that we allocated to the job? What was the storage time available? How much storage we used? What was the CPU processing time we used? We have pipeline details. What was the project ID? What was the job name? What are the runner configuration? And then here we have different kind of job metrics. So you can look at auto scaling capabilities. You can look at CPU throughput. You can create different kind of alerting policies. Let's say you have multiple different jobs. You can have alerting policies for that. And then here you have different kind of logs. You can look at the worker logs. You can look at the job logs. And if there are any kind of error, you would have your error logs here. So with that, if there are any other questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. If not, we can end our demo here. Thank you.